Welcome to Sorry I'm a Bitch, the podcast for anyone who's ever been called a bitch. Hosted by Kaylee Ellis and produced by me, Hannah Laree.
I made the biggest traveling mistake you probably could have made in your life like 2 days ago. Okay, I'll tell it live on air. I might cry. Hold on, into my coffee. Girl, okay, I'll just tell it. You know how the writer's residency, I was supposed to be last year. I am now going May of 2025. Supposed to go May of 2026. I'm now going May of 2025. So that's a month from now. And I'm a psycho. When it comes to traveling, I have to have things planned so strategically. Everything has to be perfect down to the hour. I have to know everything. So I book my flight because I'm like, let's just get that out of the way. I book a Delta flight. I get it into France at 5:55 in the morning. I'm like, okay, that's fine because my train will take off at like 10. I don't know how long it'll take me to get through customs and immigration, blah, blah, blah. Let's give myself some time and then I'll just go to the train station and like take off. Okay, well, train conductors are on a strike right now because there's always a strike in France. So now I can't leave on a train until 2:36 p.m. My plane gets in at 5:55 in the morning. And I'm like, hell no. So I just canceled my flight. I was like, I'll find another flight, right? How hard is that? I'm not getting in at 5:55 in the morning. Ew. Cancel my flight. Start looking up different flights. I find this amazing first class ticket through Air France, and my points will cover it. I can fly first class both to and fro. First, I do my homework, right? Like I said, I'm a crazy person. I do my homework. I make sure that 1,000 points with Capital One equals 1,000 points with Air France. 1 point is 1 cent on Capital One, and 1 point with Air France is 1.2 cents. No brainer. I transfer every single Capital One point that we have to Air France. You see where this is going. You don't? Okay, let me tell you. So I go to book my flight. I'm shaking right now. I go to book my flight. And it's like, hey girl, you can use points, but you can't like use all of them. So your flight is going to be like almost $3,000. What? No, babe, you have all of my points. You have all of them. So I'm like, well, I'll just transfer them back to Capital One because Air France, what the fuck? You can't do that. You can't do that. It's like your virginity. Once you give it up, it's gone. You can't have my points because I don't go to the places you usually go to. And not only that, my Capital One points, they don't expire. Now they expire with the Air France. So now I just put a timeline on those points. Oh! What the fuck am I gonna do? Normally, if there's a problem, I'm like, all right, that's fine. We'll solve it. Zach comes downstairs from putting Lydia down. I'm bawling. He was like, oh my God, who died? I'm like, our points, babe. Every single point we have. Gone. I feel like if it were me, I would have not given him as much grace as he gave me. He literally was like, hey, it's okay. We'll figure it out. If anyone can figure it out, you can figure it out, but you're not going to figure it out tonight. You need to just go to bed. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you do not know me. I have to solve this problem. And he's like, yeah, no, you're going to drive yourself insane. You need to go to bed. Go to bed, wake up at 5 in the morning. And I'm like, all right, I have to solve this. Get onto Air France. The whole thing with Air France, you have to book all of your flights separately to use your points. There's a little workaround. So I'm flying out of JFK. I liked that. I like their lounges the best. So I book my flight from JFK to Paris, first class. Book my flight from Paris to JFK, first class. Guess what I can't find now? Flights to fucking JFK that are like reasonable. So I'm like, oh, how the fuck am I going to get to JFK? Okay, that's fine. You want to know the worst part of all of this? Guess what fucking time I'm coming into France? 5:55 in the fucking morning. The whole reason I did all of this to myself is so that I didn't get into Paris at 5:55 in the fucking morning. And guess what? Do you want to know what's worse? My eye is twitching. Do you want to know what's worse? To get into JFK with enough time to get on my flight, I have to get in at 9 in the morning. Guess what time my flight leaves? JFK. 4 fucking 30. I have to spend 7 fucking hours in JFK, which, I'm a positive person. I go, that's fine. It'll be content. That's fine. I said, I'll do reviews of all the fucking lounges at JFK. I'll just go to all of the lounges. I already know that the Delta One lounge is going to be the best. That's fine. I'm going to go anyways, and I'm going to review it. I'm going to take a fucking shower. I'm going to get a massage. I'm going to get a fucking free facial. I'm going to go to the little brasserie that they have, and I'm going to get steak and frites. And I'm going to try not to lose my mind for 7 hours. It's also like, I'm a crazy person, right? So everyone's like, 7 hours in New York, go to Manhattan. I can't. I will lose my mind. I'm scared. Oh, by the way, guess what else? Because all of my flights are separate, I can't check a bag without leaving the terminal, going out, getting my bag, rechecking my bag. You say, Kaylee, you got 7 hours. Just recheck the bag. I can't. That's not how my mind works. My mind tells me if I check bag, they're going to lose my fucking bag. And now I'm in JFK for 7 hours with a lost bag. You want me to go even crazier? You want me to lose my mind? You expect me to do all of that and then go, hey guys, come to the Delta One lounge with me. No, I can't. And then you say, Kaylee, just go put your luggage at one of those lounges and go to Manhattan. I can't. I will get lost. I don't know. They're imaginary people who are saying this, Hannah. My producer just goes, who are all of these people who are saying this? The people in my mind. I have a flight to JFK from Indianapolis. I leave at 7 in the morning. I get there at 9 something. I have to spend 7 hours there. And then I still get into Paris at 5:55 in the morning. I have a flight from Paris to JFK. I do not have a flight from JFK to Indianapolis because the flights are over $400. Why are flights so ridiculous? And I feel like they know they've got me. They had a board meeting and they're like, this bitch has got to get to Indianapolis somehow. And I'm like, bitch, I'll take Amtrak. You think I won't? I will take a 22-hour train ride on Amtrak before I pay you $400. Because guess what? That will also be content. This will air and people will go, oh my God, remember when she said she had a 7-hour layover in JFK? She's currently losing her mind, crying in a corner. I won't. I'm strong. I got this. But also, because I get it at 5:55 in the morning, I'm going to have to try to find a rent by the hour room that's not for sex. Okay, here we go. I think the biggest traveling mistake people make is they can't tell the difference between, it's not called military time over there. It's just time. Americans can't read military time. People think 1300 is 3 and not 1. So they'll be like, oh, I had tickets for this thing and it was at 1300 and I showed up at 3. I just deduct 2. So like 1300, 3 minus 2 equals 1. 2400, 4 minus 2 is 12. Yeah, 2. So it's 12. Yeah, I don't know. I try. I think the biggest traveling mistake you can make is going with the wrong person. Zach and I just recently have been able to travel together really well because he's on anxiety meds now. So my husband has anxiety and we would go to London and he would like sit on the bed and have a panic attack. And then he'd go, it's my blood pressure. And I'm like, you're having a panic attack. We have this quote where we'll say, I have places to go, I have people to see, I have reservations, because I yelled that at him in a hotel room in London because I had secured these reservations for like this really amazing cocktail bar that was hard to like get reservations for. And I was like, I have people to see, I have places to be, I have reservations. So now when we're in a hurry, we like look at each other and we say that because I was going to go without him. I'm like, you can stay here and have your little panic attack, your little baby panic attack in the hotel room, blame your little blood pressure, but I'm going to have cocktails. Sorry. Delta is my go-to airline. Knock on wood, because Air France is a partner of Delta. I've taken American, I've taken United, and United has lost bags. American, every time I fly American, I'm delayed. Every time. You know what my husband did one time? And he tests my patience. Let me just tell you. Okay? I feel like I always talk about like, oh, my husband was so sweet. He did this and that. Okay. And you're like, oh wow, she would never give him that grace. I'm like, well, he tests my patience. Okay. I make like one mistake a year. It might be big. I make a big mistake. Okay. We were flying from Montreal. We had a layover in Newark. You know where he put his passport? In the little seat back pocket. Do you know what he didn't check before we left the flight? Little seat back pocket. Because nobody does. We're booking it because we've got like a short layover. We're booking it to the next gate. And you know, Newark, like you got to take a little bus and you got to get on a little. He realized when we had to check into our gate that he didn't have his passport. He had to run back to the plane and get his passport. And I was standing at the gate and the lady was like, you aren't freaking out as much as like I would be freaking out. And I was like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to whoop his ass? Like, I want to, but you'll ban me. We made it. We were the last ones on the plane and she kept like looking like, I'm going to shut the door. I'm going to shut the door. He made it the last second. I think she held the door a little longer than she probably should have. Oh, you know what else? You know what else my husband did? This is another Canada story. So we get into Montreal. We're in customs for 2 hours. 2 hours. I'm like, why are we here? Isn't there normally like a little guy and you go up and you're like, I'm here for fun. And then you leave? Why are we here for 2 hours in like this glass box? Like, this is so weird. And Zach's sitting there like, I don't know. We get up and the guy's like, what are you here for? Blah, blah, blah. Like asking Zach all these questions. And I'm like, you don't want to ask me anything? I'm here too. I thought it was just like misogyny because he did not speak to me the whole time. He didn't give a shit why I was here. So we left and the whole time into Montreal, I was like, can you believe that? I didn't know they were sexist here. Like, he did not want to talk to me. Zach's like, yeah, that was weird. So we do another flight. We go to Calgary. We're at the baggage claim, and 2 officers come up, and they're like, you two need to come with us. I'm like, God, I think they fucking hate me in Canada. Do I look like a criminal? So, of course, I thought it was about me. So they bring us in to this white room. The border agent, again, is just talking to Zach, and he's like, hey, have you ever gotten in trouble in Canada? And Zach's like, no. And he was like, in 2015, you didn't get in trouble in Windsor. And I was like, hold up right there. He was with me in 2015. Okay. That's the year we met. You think if he got in trouble in Canada, I wouldn't know? You think if he went to Canada, he would have gone without me? He wasn't even in Canada 2015. And the guy's just staring at Zach, won't even look at me. I'm like, these sexist motherfuckers. I knew it. And he's like, nope, I didn't. And the guy's like, well, I think somebody has like all of your passport information because somebody with this passport got in trouble in Canada. So we leave, we're going to our rental car, and I'm like, wow, I'm never coming back to Canada. They're ridiculous here. For some reason, I don't know what their deal is. We get our rental car. The whole time I'm talking, the whole way. We leave the airport, we're driving, and Zach goes, hey, I have something I need to tell you. I was like, what? He was like, so back in 2015, I got in trouble in Windsor in Canada. I was on tour. It was before I met you. And we were on a tour bus and it was full of drugs. We were trying to go to Detroit and we made a wrong turn and we ended up in Canada. And they were like, oh, a tour bus? We're absolutely searching that. And they searched it and they got in trouble. And they were like, don't come back here again. He said that he forgot about it and he didn't realize it until we were at our rental car. Like, oh, wait, I did. And I'm like, I don't know if I'd forget that. And like, granted, like, I don't think it was that big of a deal. They like paid a fine. They had just gotten back from a stop in Colorado. And so they had like gummies and edibles and shit. So it's not like they had like heroin. They didn't even have cocaine. I was like, what kind of fucking tour is this? I was like, wow, they probably felt bad for you guys. They were like, oh, a little stoner tour. They didn't even do cocaine. Hopefully they don't play for us. So I was like, okay, well, we're never coming back to Canada. But then we went and got global entry, and the guy was like, "You guys are stellar, amazing. Here's your global entry." So when I talk about traveling with the right person, I guess if you travel with a criminal, hope they're a liar. I told him, I was like, if they would have turned you around and said, "Hey, you need to go back to America," you would have been going alone. Let's talk about the writer's residency. First things first, how did this come about? I applied 2 years ago for this residency. It's international, so only like a small percentage of people get to actually go. And it's even harder if you're a writer because they only have 7 writers accepted into each residency. So I was like, whatever, I'm just going to apply, shoot your shot. If I don't get in, what's it going to do? Kill me? No. I won't even know. I'll just forget about it, whatever. So they have you submit writing. So I submitted at the time. My dad had just passed away, so I started writing another book, and I just submitted all of the writing that I had done for that book, like whatever was done, unedited, sent it to them. I didn't hear anything back for like 10 months. And I was like, that's fine. Like I knew I wasn't going to get in anyways. We're renovating our kitchen, but from a company called Chateau. I get an email from Chateau, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's the kitchen. I'll deal with it later. Didn't look at it. Finally looked at it, and they're like, congratulations, Kaylee, you've been selected for a residency. And I'm like, holy shit, have a panic attack. It's 2 weeks of my life. So I wrote them back and I'm like, hell yeah, what do I need to do? And they were like, oh, no, we gave your spot up. Like, you took way too long to respond. And I was like, shit. And they were like, you can go in 2026. You can do our 2026 one. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like, let's do it. So this whole time I've been thinking I have a whole year to finish my book. And then they contact me a couple days ago and they said, how would you feel about going in May? We have a room available. I didn't even talk to Zach. Immediately, I was like, you know what? That's not going to work. Didn't tell them, but my cat's sick. He has FIP. We had a cat die last year of FIP. So we are very scared for Winston, and he has to have medicine every 12 hours. So I'm like, I can't go because his treatment's not done until June 16th, and I'll be at the residency. But I told Zach about it, and he was like, you're going. You're going in May. Don't wait until 2026. Like you're going. And I was like, dude, I can't. Winston, is sick. I need to make sure. I need to see his medicine being done. I called my mom, and my mom said the same thing. My mom was like, Kaylee, you don't know what next year looks like. Something could happen. You could get busy. You could get a job. Like, you need to go now. I'm like, okay, fine. So I wrote him back and I was like, any chance that room's still available? And they were like, yep. And I was like, I'll take it. So I'm going to be going with not much done. I have a lot of work to do for a month before I go. If I give myself a deadline, do you think I give a fuck what she thinks? No, I do not. But if someone else gives me a deadline, I do care about what they think. I will, like, so now that I have this deadline, I'm like, let's do it. So I'm very nervous. I'm very nervous to leave my daughter. I think it's also interesting because this doesn't happen a lot where like female solo travelers are not normally wives and stay-at-home moms. Female solo travelers are usually not moms, at least. I feel like the most badass women do solo traveling. And yeah, so it'll be interesting to be on my own without my family. I've never traveled without Zach. Maybe to my friend Lucy's wedding back in 2015 when we first got together. My mom's like, I'm so scared for you. And I'm like, I think I'll feel safer. America's pretty dangerous. We'll see how it goes. I will be posting, and I'm going to do a video diary. Instead of doing like a written diary, I'm going to do a video diary, a vlog, if you will.
If you like what you're hearing so far, give us a follow. We are a brand new podcast and we do everything ourselves, so your support quite literally keeps us going. And don't forget to tune in next Tuesday, right here on Sorry I'm a Bitch.